Alright guys, the Tornado Ali podcast is just back in after an amazing training. Like we have been doing like the Tornado Ali right after the no gi pro training, man. The training today was vicious, like we went at it. So it's kind of we're gonna start warming up as we go, okay? And today's it's awesome, okay? I have here Professor Victor Doria and Meg Grindari, okay? We're gonna talk about conditioning for jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of people who have always asked me about, conditioning training and all the vertents that it comes with it, how I do it, how I don't do it, and all of that. And both of our peoples here are well graduated and on the aspect. Doria has a supplement company, Adaptogen Science, and if you guys go to his YouTube channel, has a lot of really good information out there about it. All my conditioning training is made by Maggie. And one thing is this, I have been training, I have been lifting since I'm 14 years old, and I do believe that conditioning training is very important for every practitioner, not only of martial arts but like sports in general. In a way that it works as a prevention for injuries. I believe that it's the main thing. The stronger your body is, the more tight your muscles are, the harder it will be for you to be injured. You know what I mean? And whenever it comes to that, then again, we're gonna have 1,000 ways of doing conditioning. You know what I mean? And I'm a believer that every person has an individuality. You know what I mean? And like if sometimes I feel in a certain way about my training, then it works very good for me. Vitor does a different way of training that works for him, and Meg works for him. Like, because there's a lot of this stuff of people like, oh man, tell me what you do because I want to do the same. Yeah. It's like, but we're not the same. You know what I mean? And like any other thing, like in jiu-jitsu itself, right? Someone is going to teach you an open guard. Some people are going to teach you the butterfly. Some people are going to teach you the spider guard. But you're going to have to go through all of those experiences to actually get to know what fits better for you and what part of your training should do what. And everything comes with experience.
And to go off of that, I have about 10 different clients along with the pro strength and conditioning that we do. And all of my clients, if you look at a paper, they all have the same paper. But then within the session, depending on their age, depending on their athletic ability, depending on their body type, one might have more reps than the other, one's gonna have more weights than the other. I might take this exercise away from it. So by the end of the session, the paper is the same at the beginning, but then I alter it per person, per group to be able to work for them best. It's not just like, okay, Cyborg did it this way, so I'm going to do it that way. Of course not. So to go off of what he said, just like jiu-jitsu, this is your game, this is my game. The strength and conditioning, it's the same way, and you have to find what works best for you. But also, I think it's very important to have somebody to find what works best for you if you don't know.
Exactly, and there's no discussion about, no arguing about how important it is to condition your body in order to perform better in any sports, and jiu-jitsu more than included. So the thing is, people need to understand that there's so many different ways, like Cyborg was saying, so many different ways of conditioning your body in order to get to where you want. Mm-hmm. But the first thing and most important is knowing exactly what you want from that. So if you don't have a very clear and straight objective with what you're doing, you might get to places where like, oh, this is not exactly what I was needing, or this is not working that well for me. So a lot of people come to me and ask, what would you recommend? It depends. It's like asking me, what's the best way of passing a guard? It depends who you're fighting against. What do you like to do? What's your stance? How do you like to perform? How do you like to fight? So it's so different because, once again, individuality. Mm-hmm. Like, people are different, and there's no way out of it. So it's really, really important that you have a very clear objective a very clear goal in order to choose the way you're gonna condition your body.
Yeah, guys, especially like, like again, like we see, let's start from the beginning, right? Because, I mean, like we have a school not only here, but like in different parts of the world. And the thing that we see is that, like especially guys who have never practiced sports before, sometimes their bodies are not conditioned just yet to go at it, to start, some people are overweight, some people are not flexible at all, some people, they are not well coordinated, you know what I mean? And everything takes a time for you to actually evolve, your condition in not only on the mats, but off the mats. You know what I mean? And I do believe that your conditioning training is gonna be a good foundation for you to build within what you're gonna work on the mats to become a better athlete, to become a better person.
And coming off of that, speaking about it being specific, you get a lot of people that see some guys like he lifts super heavy weights, but that's something he likes to do. Some people, do you need to run for jiu-jitsu? No, but if you enjoy running, you like to run. That's a different, and that's what I was saying to a client this morning. He was like, I keep getting people telling me how strong I am, and they're like, I don't know, I'm not lifting, so it's just whatever Maggie's doing. And the way that I do it is not necessarily muscle strength, but muscle endurance. When you look at weightlifting, you're going down to 3 or 1 reps. Are you ever gonna need to hip escape once or UPA only twice? With the muscle endurance, the way that I create my training is it makes your muscles last. I create a simulation, more of a fight simulation, because we roll hard, we train hard, but you can get in closed guard, okay, I'm comfortable for a minute. When you're in the gym doing the sport-specific exercises, a lot of times you're like, I want to stop. And that's how a lot of the times we feel in a fight, But I create your body to be able to last longer. Like sometimes when you're training with somebody who lifts a lot of weight, maybe in half guard, it'll take 1 or 2 times to get your knee out, But for me, I know with the way I train, you're gonna have to go through hell to get your knee out and free because my muscles are trained to last rather than to do reps.
I do believe that, the mindset that you have to train is very important, because again, whenever you reach a certain level, it's really hard for you to get pushed on training. It's really hard for you to get pushed on the mats. Or whenever you're an experienced fighter, you know that even when you're uncomfortable, you can find a way of being comfortable just because you have so much knowledge that you can actually find a comfort zone on a bad position. You know what I mean? So on my case, for instance, I love doing the conditioning training because I know that you're gonna push me to limits that wouldn't push sometimes on the mats, or at least not all the time.
And that you'll get to when you're fighting. You get to those limits.
It will get me to the limits of like, man, I want to quit, but I can't quit. You know what I mean? And on the mat, sometimes it's hard for us. Like, there's just so many. Like, I'm a heavy guy. Victor's a heavy guy. Maggie's a heavy girl for her weight division. So like, sometimes it's hard for you to simulate something the level that you have in competition. And what I love about conditioning is exactly the challenge. I love to challenge myself. I love to challenge myself when I push weights. I love to challenge myself, whenever I'm doing a circuit, like whenever I'm working out with Maggie and she makes a circuit and like, man, I want to quit. But then I was like, man, my girlfriend's doing the workout. I can't quit in front of my girlfriend. I gotta push. If a girl is doing the workout, like I gotta do it. You know what I mean? I better do it myself, otherwise I'm gonna die. So like, I believe that, the game that you play with your mind is very important. Something that I tell the guys all the time is this, like being a champion is a habit. Being a champion is a habit. Have a ready mind is a habit. You know what I mean? Overcoming difficulties is a habit. So like a lot of times, all of us, you have the good angel and the bad angel. You always have the good angel here that says, oh no, you can't do it. But the bad angel is screaming on your ear saying that, you can't go anymore, that your body's shutting down on you, that you're too tired, that it's too hard, that the time is too long. You know what I mean? And I believe that exercise is something that you have to push every single day. Like I challenge myself all the time. whenever I'm in training, whenever I'm doing conditioning, I'm challenging my mind into pushing myself to the limits and overcoming those limits all the time. You know what I mean? And I believe the conditioning training, when well done, is something that actually makes you break those barriers that are gonna make you better.
That's right, that's right. And the thing that I see nowadays, because I've been training jiu-jitsu for 25 years, and it was so different back then than it is right now. And also with the social media phenom, everybody wants to portray themselves like pushing hard and doing this and doing that, which I think is cool, because it is cool. You know what is not cool? You're not gonna take a picture of yourself resting. You're not gonna take a picture of yourself sleeping. You're not gonna take a picture of yourself taking a long shower, because that's not cool. So people are doing everything for the post. And that's the line, the thin line between what do I need to do versus what do people think I do and how I want to show myself to my following. Right. So I think this is a very kind of gray area. And what I like myself, I'm 42 years old. I wish I could join everybody here at the gym at, I don't know, 4:30, 5 p.m. and work my butt off and get out there and just lift and move weights and do all the strength and conditioning that Maggie is coaching, and I think it's amazing. That's what I've been doing. By the way, I studied physical education in college, then I graduated and I did an extension in exercise physiology. So I know how important it is to condition your body. There's no doubt about it, like I started saying. But it comes to a time where you have to choose your battles. Like, do I have time and health, and am I motivated enough, or am I willing to go the extra mile and do that? Is it gonna make or break my body? You know, because the line is there. Overtraining is not something that I consider too much, but overdoing, yes. Like overtraining, I think it's like, I've been reading in books like since 1995 about overtraining, but I don't read a lot about overdoing, you know. And overdoing is something that it's really like dangerous for the athletes. So what I do, and that's me, the individual here, I try to stay as long as I can in the mats. I try to condition my body by training. So people ask me, how are you so strong and you're not lifting, you're not doing strength and conditioning on top of your jiu-jitsu training? Because I do a lot of strength when I'm training. And whenever you're doing strength, you're gonna get stronger. It doesn't matter if you're doing strength.
He does a lot of strength in his training, believe me. He does a lot of strength in his training.
The way to train your body to get stronger in jiu-jitsu, you can push weights, you can do whatever, and you're gonna get stronger. And the more specific your movements are, the stronger your body is gonna get in that sort of situation. So what I try to do is train with the strongest guys possible here at the gym and do the most that I can. And I'm not doing reps. I'm actually rolling for 5, 6, 8 minutes with 3, 4, 5 guys, and that's my session. Not only I work my technical part, but I also work my strength. But on the other hand, if I'm not working specific muscles, I might get injured.
Yeah, and actually to feed right off of that, it counters but agrees. My oldest client is 50. He's not a black belt for 20 years, you know? So he still doesn't know how to properly necessarily move on the mat. So he does half of the jiu-jitsu that you do with half of the strength and conditioning.
There you go.
Balance. You know, so it's a balance between you can go hard with this guy, you know. Older clients might not necessarily can't. They don't have enough experience. So you balance it exactly. Let's learn how to move here so that it translates to protect yourself and to be able to learn more. Yeah. Because sometimes if you're just trying to survive because you're not strong or conditioned, you're not learning.
Yeah, you're not learning.
You know, so at least let's be strong and conditioned so now I can learn. For you, the jiu-jitsu is easy. You know, it's so for
It's a
other
part of
people,
you.
yeah, if it's
Yeah,
part of
been doing
you.
it all
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's to each his own. Like it works for me in the moment that I'm living. Like I work every day. I don't work out. I work in. I'm in the office every single day. So I have to work. I have to be there and do my thing. And I don't have time. And when I have time, I choose. That's my personal choice. I choose to be on the mats. And I love running. I did half a marathon twice. I ran like how many is it? 13 miles. 13 point something miles. And weighing 220 pounds is not an easy task. My knees were sore. I have surgeries all over my body. So I try to be as healthy as possible, but at the same time, maintaining myself in the mats as much as possible, because that's what I love to do, you know?
Yeah, and like one thing that like you both said that's really important is for people to understand about their limitations. You know what I mean? About age, about their limitations, about their physique, you know what I mean? And as we grow old again, when I was younger, I used to train twice as hard than I train today. You know what I mean? And with time, and I put a lot of time on the mats, I train every day and I do conditioning pretty much every day. You know what I mean? And I travel during the weekends. You know what I mean? So I have learned to pace myself much more than what I used to do before. You know, I don't work out nearly as hard as I used to do before because my body doesn't recover as much
Guess what?
anymore.
It's gonna get worse.
Oh, come on, man. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Adaptogen science, they gotta create the pure, the pure of
the young
like anti-aging thing, man.
Everybody's trying to do that.
No,
actually,
I wish.
Actually, the real problem right there is you have to know yourself, and you once again, social media shows us all the time and puts on your face all the time, like push your limits. Your limits are nothing. Say no to your limits. Go against your limits. Overcome your limits. That's beautiful to read, but that doesn't work 100% of the time. That's not realistic. I am not trying to push my limits. Actually, I'm trying to stay within my limits so that I can keep training. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to. So I'm being realistic with myself. It doesn't matter how strong I am, how heavy I am, how good I am, how long I've been training jiu-jitsu. I know that if I push too hard, and sometimes this guy comes to me and says, hey, you want to do a last row? I said, no, I'm done. I can't because I'm going to break. My elbow's sore, my knees are sore, my neck is completely effed up. I can't go the extra mile. Not anymore. Not anymore. You know, and I have to understand that because if I want to be here tomorrow and train again and train hard in order for me to compete, I have to listen to my body. So the most important thing for me is that you listen to your body and understand your limitations, respect them, push yourself to the max, but let the max, like recognize your maximum and know that it's there.
And
you know?
yeah, and off of that too, like we're talking about like how when we're doing strength and conditioning, it's like that dying feeling. But a lot of it, the way that I structure training is there's also a lot of thinking in it too. Yeah. Like we're doing a lot of stuff on one leg, step here while you're doing this and do it. It's a lot of thought because when you're fighting, your body's hurting, but you also still have to think. So that's where the mental part comes from. Like, yes, of course, what we're doing is hard, but it's also because it's making us
How do you call it proprioceptive? How do you call it here? Proprioceptives, proprioception, something like that. Yeah, it's in Brazil we call propriocepção. So this is something that you I don't know exactly.
We can make it. We can come up with English
all the time.
Portuguese, English words.
Yeah,
like, we have our own vocabulary here.
But that's pretty much what you're saying. Like you have to put a thought on your movement and know exactly what you're doing and coordinate that with you. Because actually, training your muscles is neuromuscular training. So neuromuscular training. If you just do muscle training, it's just pushing a freaking car outside. You don't have to think too much.
Yeah,
but when you do this stuff,
we're on like one leg while you're slamming a ball. Cause like I try to relate it. How many times in jiu-jitsu are you on one leg? A lot. Whether it's passing, standing, single legs. So it's the balance and everything
and that's
specific.
and that's exactly what a lot of athletes they don't have today. Even because the reality people live today, it's completely different of the reality people used to live before. You know, I was raised in a farm in Brazil on a countryside, like climbing trees, climbing to shit, jumping things. You know what I mean? Nowadays, most of the kids, man, like yesterday I had a fundamentals class, and for new students that came up, they're all adults already, but they have no clue of every perception of their body. They don't know how to move. You know what I mean? They don't know how to act. They don't know how to jump. They don't know how to coordinate.
Mario Bros.
Because no one's teaching them
No,
anymore.
unfortunately, you know, like everybody's like much more on the iPad and all this instead of like then outside.
Using your
so
body.
then that limits a lot of everybody's body condition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I believe that, you know, one very important thing that, you know, conditioning training brings is exactly the perception of the body. Plus what you do in jiu-jitsu, you know, and plus what you do like in every
You
like
learn to
major
know your
sport.
body,
You know,
yeah.
you learn how to move your body properly.
Control your body, isolate certain muscles and areas, for sure.
Yeah, and another thing that's really important is, man, I'm always gonna go back to the social media thing because this is you can't avoid it. Is like people want to look good in the mirror, and strength and conditioning for performance is different than training your body to look good at the beach. You know, to
Or
be
on a stage,
to
if you
be
do the
on
physique.
stage or even like beach ready. You know,
Right.
it's completely different, and people are always taking their pictures and showing their 8-pack, 6-pack, whatever pack. You see the power lifters, these guys are training their bodies in order to perform, and they don't care if they look good or not, because most of them don't look good, like to our perception. These guys, they have a different body type because their sport demands it differently. And the same thing happens here on the mats. It doesn't mean that if you have a 6-pack, you're gonna perform better on the mats, you know? It doesn't mean at all. You need, like I used to play water polo. The best water polo players I've seen in action, they never had 6-pack or
And
anything.
truthfully, you know what?
You know?
I personally think it is. A lot of people might not have, because we have to eat more.
Yeah.
Like the amount of calories and that's why I tell people when they're kind of like a skinny fat, they're like, oh, I'm eating so good. I'm like, eat more. And they're like, what? I'm like, you need to eat more.
And you need your fats, you need your
Carbs.
carbs. You don't need only your
Protein.
isolate whey protein, you know? That's something I always address when I go do seminars and talk about supplementation within the jiu-jitsu gyms and the jiu-jitsu competitors and athletes. I tell them, hey Victor, what should I take? I don't know if you should take anything like other than food. How much have you been training? 3 times a week? Why do you need supplements?
Yeah.
Get your food
And if
done.
you train once,
you know?
like 1 hour a day, and like you're still
You don't need
beginner,
your
you're not
supplements.
even like supplements is just to go above what you can't actually give to your body with just food.
And your body is craving for it, is needing that. If you don't put your body in a situation where it needs more than what you're able to eat as food, you don't need supplements. That's what it is, plain and simple. Unless you like, I am not able to eat 8,000 calories in a day, so I need a gainer,
And
a
look
mass gainer.
who's saying this is that he owns a supplement company.
I usually tell people, hey, but you're an owner of the company and you don't want me to take supplements? No, I don't. I want you to perform. I want you to do good. I want you to be healthy.
And it's funny because a lot
you know?
of people before they start training was like, yeah, man, I have to buy my whey protein. I have to buy. So you're not even training. You know, I have to buy this. I have to buy that. So you have to train.
Yeah.
Show up and train. Show up and you know, bust your ass,
and
put in the work, and then you know, then the need of supplements and things will come accords to the volume of training you have.
Yeah.
Or if you're somebody who has an issue missing meals, is a good time to have a protein shake. Because there's some people, I hate breakfast, I won't eat it. Or I don't have time. Or like us, you know, we finish our workout and we have to go to work.
Now you're talking about convenience. That's another point. For sure, it's needed. It's very important that you guys understand that you have to train hard in order for you to need supplements. Unless you don't have the time to cook, to buy, to do this and that. So you always have a protein bar in your car, always have a protein shake or something like that. that's great. But you need to train hard. And when I'm saying train hard, is not just being on the mats, it's doing strength and conditioning, is doing your runs or whatever it is. A lot of people come to me and say, what do you think I should do for strength and conditioning? First thing I ask, do you have the time? Do you have the time to put a little more effort? No, I'm gonna have to replace my time on the mat with strength and conditioning. That's your choice. I chose not to. I chose
and
not to.
some people it'll work for, and some people won't.
Exactly. That's
but again,
the
that's the individuality that everyone has to have as well. You know what I mean? But again, like Vitor trains for 59 years. You know what I mean? So like he has been training forever. You know, and like he's like a well-decorated black belt. He knows his thing. You know what I mean? Like he's someone who's already came. Where like he has a really good build. You know, he's super strong. He's a heavier guy. You know, he knows how to move. He was Division 1 athlete in Brazil, you know what I mean? Like he was a sportsman before it comes to jiu-jitsu, and all of that helps because the way your body is built, the way your body is made, will help when you actually start training.
Sure.
The problem is a lot of people, they come to the sport and they're
not ready to do anything.
They're ready not to do. They can barely walk.
And something like that's like a perfect example for me. I'm behind in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So for me, I know you might out technique me, but I won't get tired. Like I remember I was fighting one tournament and the coach said something, they were like, oh, she's getting tired. And I looked at him and smiled, like, cause I was just like, no. Like the technique might be there, but I'll never get tired, cause I know I need that. The level I'm competing at, there's a lot of girls that techniques are better than me, but I know for one thing, I won't stop fighting and I will outlast them if that's what it takes to beat them. If I'm not going to be with them with technique, I personally need the strength and conditioning to add to my technique to be equal with some of these girls.
Yeah, and again, guys, like everyone, like we said before, it's a different individual. Different people has different ways of fighting, you know, and you should look into things that will better your way of fighting. Now we're talking about jiu-jitsu, you know, guys who are actually we're talking to who are looking forward of being a competitor or just performing better on the mats. And then again, you have to find the things that will complement the exercise that you want to do on the mats. It's very important for you guys to realize that. You know, stretching, you know, like stretching is very important. You know, like working out, you know, just not the time that you're on the mats here, that you're on the gym, lifting weights or do sport specifics or whatever. You know what I mean? You have to stretch properly. You have to take care of your body. You have to rest properly. You have to eat properly. You have to sleep properly. You know, so there's an entire combination of things that will make you have success with the choices you've taken. You know what I mean? On the beginning, everybody has the bug bite, like the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they want to train every day, all day.
They want to train every day, all day, doing
Just
everything there is out there. They're like, oh, like, you know, like
he's
a
doing
kid
this, I need to do this.
Yeah, he's a kid on a chocolate store, you know, like, And again, it takes time for you to find out what are the things that make you better. It takes time
Trial
and
error.
experience for you to be able to look around and get to acknowledge of how your body responds. You know what I mean? So the main thing for you is first, learn how to understand your limitations. You know that, you know, like Vitor said, you know, I'm someone that I'm always trying to break my limitations. Always trying to go through, but that's something personal.
Yeah.
This is Cyborg, you know what I mean? A lot of people are like, man, if they try to keep up with me, they'll break much before I do, but it's something that I have that not necessarily other people have. I don't suggest to people to do what I do because I know my limits. Even though it feels like I go too crazy sometimes, I know where I'm going. You know, I know that I can go the extra mile, sometimes much more than other people. But through the years, I've learned that. And it's very important for everyone to actually get to understand their limitations. Sure. You know what I mean? And through that, you work around the things that you have to complement on your training. You know, on like some of our guys here, man, like super stiff, good in jiu-jitsu, but super stiff. Man, you're gonna get hurt. Eventually, you're gonna get hurt. If you're 20 years old and you can't bow down and touch your toes, believe me, you're gonna have problems. So you have to start stretching before, after training, take a better care of your body. You know what I mean? If you're someone who has like, your core is not strong, man, in jiu-jitsu being folded all the time. There's pressure on your neck. There's all that. You have to strengthen your body and your core, you know, so you don't have a spine problem later.
And make sure you're getting this information from people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, especially like if you're a light person.
For sure.
You know, a lot of people are super light and they train. Like again, light guys take a beating much more than heavier guys. So it's very important for you guys to strengthen your body. Man, we have an example of Denino here, you know, because he used to be super light and extremely brave. Extremely brave. So whenever your heart is bigger than you, you're not gonna quit. You're gonna keep on going. You're gonna go with the heavier guys, and people gonna, you know, like fold you in half and all that. And when you're young, you know what? You feel like you're invincible.
Yeah,
but you know what? Whenever you get some age, man, you're gonna respond for all that responsibility that you had before.
All that bravery.
You know what I mean? And so that's why, like, it's very important for the professors, for people who are supporting the gym, for people who have a little bit more experience, to be guiding those guys who are just starting and they're like, you know, those jiu-jitsu freaks, you know, like they're coming in like crazy, to put them on their place. Say, man, like everything else in life, you know, if you don't know how to ride a bike and you jump on and you try to go, you're gonna fall. You know what I mean? And in jiu-jitsu, like a fall would mean a bad injury, and sometimes can take forever out of the sport. You know what I mean? So
this being specific and the specificity. Specificity, which is like something that is really, really important, and mostly in jiu-jitsu, which is a sport that is different from everything that you've seen in your life. No, it's not the same as wrestling. No, it's not the same as judo. It's not the same as sambo. It's jiu-jitsu. That's it. And in jiu-jitsu, you have gi and no gi, which are different as well. So very specific. And people come to say, and they say, I need to get stronger because I'm lacking strength when I'm fighting. Personally, I wouldn't recommend you to go bench press 1,000 pounds to get stronger on the mat.
Nope.
Because if you're training harder and you're doing more strength as you train, and you're a brown belt, a black belt, a purple belt, a competitor, you already know when you can do strength and more strength. Train there. Like, you're gonna get stronger just by training jiu-jitsu. Yes, you're gonna get faster just by training jiu-jitsu. Yes, you're gonna even stretch more and get more mobile, flexible, just by training jiu-jitsu. Yes, of course that if you can do it on the side, it's gonna be even better. But what if you can't? There's no solution for you. How many people we've seen, how many times I've trained with guys that were like, I don't know, 70 kilos, 150 pounds, and they felt strong as hell. And I said, man, these guys are not even lifting. Their body's so small, but still they're strong because it's specific strengthness. They have that because they've been training hard for X amount of years.
Even myself, like if I'm doing one of our, like, because every day we do something lifting. I have 25-pound plates on each side. I can deadlift way more than that, like when I was in college, but I know for me it doesn't work. Like, he likes to be in a certain weight limit, and for him it requires lifting. Because whereas for me, if I put 5 pounds on, I don't move anymore. My body's like so slow. So there's that thing again, like, he does the weightlifting because 1, it works for him, and 2, he likes the feeling of it. You know, I do yoga. 1, I need it, but I also do yoga because I love yoga.
Having a lot of muscle mass on the mats doesn't mean that you're stronger than the other guy that doesn't have. It's different.
It's how your muscles work, and you have to be doing specific training.
How you feel
to make them.
And how you feel when you fight. Again, some guys said, "Master, should I drop weight to fight in the lower division?" It's like, I don't know. Have you tried it? How did you feel about it? Because, like, you know, some people like to fight lighter. Some people like to fight heavier.
I like cutting weight. It works for my body.
I compete in a ultra heavyweight division, and to fight in a ultra heavyweight division, I have to gain weight. Usually, I'm 226, 228. To fight, I like to be at 232, 234. So I have to put on weight to fight. You know what I mean? Because I like to fight the bigger guys. You know, it's more fun. I like to fight absolute divisions, and I feel better fighting absolute when I'm a little bit heavier. I still move like I can still, when I'm 232, I can still move like a 145. So for me, it works. It doesn't necessarily say that for other people gonna work the same.
Because I'm the opposite. I'm medium heavy, And when I fight medium heavy, I feel great. I used to relax when I was fighting heavyweight, and I would feel terrible. So now, even when I fight heavyweight, I'm at medium heavyweight because that's my weight. That's how I feel good.
Yeah.
Or to Doria, who had to drop because he's fighting masters, but on masters, guys are extremely overweight.
Yeah,
So
300 pounds.
300 pounds, guys, super huge. You know, like the ultra heavyweights on adult, they're still fit and fast, and
Yeah, 'cause they're young.
It's a fun fight. But if you go to masters, man, everybody's so much heavier, and they like it's a boring fight. So like,
Yeah, you can't do much.
so on a super heavyweight, he dropped and he kept doing
Yeah.
great and much more
And
fun
that's
fights.
and that's where specific strength and conditioning comes in as well, because you need to have somebody who knows, oh, you want 5 pounds, this is how you do it. Not necessarily just benching heavy or squatting heavy. Oh, you want to stay at this weight? Okay, I need to make sure we're doing weight. And even like if they're like, this is light, I'm like, it might be light, but let's move it more. You know, you have to have somebody who knows what they're doing for you to be able to get the best results too.
Yeah, and I see that like what happens today, like nowadays, people train twice, maybe 3 times a day. You know, 3 times a day on the mat.
I'm 26.
I'm not even saying strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
They're training 3 times every single day. So we're talking about 15 to 20 jiu-jitsu sessions in a week. It's way too much. Well, to whom? For whom? Like for me, it's just impossible. I try to do 5 a week, and I'm happy. But these kids at 19, 22, they're doing 20 sessions a week.
But do you think it's going to affect their bodies later?
I do think,
I do too.
but also the way they fight is different than the way I used to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's more of the passing guard with not a lot of pressure, going like doing the
Right.
the long jumps and the long steps and all that stuff. Which in my time back then, when I got
much
my black
more
belt,
of your flexibility than actually the,
like so your body might not be paying that
As
huge
much,
toll,
yeah.
you know, because you're not putting all that pressure on you, because there's different techniques and everybody's going to the back now, and going to the back doesn't demand that much pressure. You just need to be slick and go there and get the back, and you're good there, you're fine. Everybody's looking at it, even though there's the old schoolers, they're still pass smashing and want to mount and finish from the mount, which is beautiful as well. Jiu-jitsu is multifaceted, so you're able to just perform the way you like better and make sure your body is built for that
For whatever you're
performance that
doing,
you,
yeah.
that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like if I want to play berimbolo, I can't be 240 pounds. It's not gonna work. If my legs are too thick, it's not gonna work. Like it's tough, it's difficult. And the same way that if I'm long and like I'm 6'5" and I want to apply pressure on passing, it's not this. People do that, but it's different. Like when you have a different build, you're more able to, the ability is better to do that. But you have to adjust. And jiu-jitsu, you can adjust all the time. There is no such thing as, oh, my body's not built for jiu-jitsu. There's no such thing like that.
yeah, you just gotta find the proper game to yourself. We have a really good friend, Cristiano Lazzarini. Man, he's a bodybuilder, one of the strongest guys in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? He works out like a monster. You know, Chichi, from Belo Horizonte. Yeah. And man, he has a game that if he grabs your head inside of a guillotine, you're gonna rip your head off. You know what I mean? And for him, it works out being huge and working out like that. Will that work for everyone else? No. You know what I mean? He's an different individual that works for him. Then we have Orlando Sanchez. Man, the guy's huge. You know what I mean? And moves well for his weight division. Does everybody's gonna be able to move like him? No. Then you have João Gabriel, Bochecha. The guys are 260 pounds, 250 pounds now, moving like cats. You know what I mean? Again, like everyone is a different individual, and you always have to push your body in a way that, man, I have talent for doing this. I have talent for doing that. Good. Work on that talent and make that be a good thing for you. You know what I mean? So I believe that's the mentality. Guys. individuality is something very important for you guys to understand, and getting to know your body and going through the process of, you know, learning different ways of working out and having the feeling what works and what doesn't work for you is very important. You know what I mean? Don't be closed-minded. Don't be closed-minded, because a lot of people, they're really closed-minded, like, oh, I know this and that's the only thing I want to do. I mean, I think that you should open your mind, and in different stages of your training, you should be trying different things, and through that, you will find what's good, what works, and what doesn't work for your body.
And on top of that, just as a reminder for the competitors versus the hobbyists,
Yeah.
you should try, and like executives that train, like people that
That's
work
when
and they
prevention
train,
really comes
like
in.
it's really important. But also you need to know that, okay, if you're doing it for the hobby, if you're doing it for the sport, just because you like it or you love it, have fun doing it. And to the my fellow competitor friends, if you're looking for that fun thing, that you're a competitor, you're not supposed to have so much fun. You know, it's different. Like people, they're competing, they're willing to win the worlds, and they're still, oh, but I'm not having enough fun. I don't see a world champion looking for fun when they're trying. They're looking for, like, I want to win. You can enjoy the process. It's different than having fun. You know,
Like you love fighting.
You love fighing.
But
you're
in that
happy.
moment, it's not
You're
always
happy
fun.
because there's people that there are a lot of people that come to me and say, you know what, Victor, I'm not having fun. I said, yeah, you're not supposed to, because I don't have fun when I train with this guy. Like I don't. It's not fun at all.
Yeah, and you don't always
It's not fun at
win,
all.
and that's not fun. But then you
It's
still
not
go
fun at
do
all.
it.
But I want to do the next day,
Yeah.
and the next day, and the day
Yeah.
after that. But understand that because people, they put a lot of pressure on themselves. Like, I need to enjoy more. I need to have more fun. No, if you want to win this and that competitions, like it's not going to be that fun to be ready for those. Like, it's going to be good, and you're going to enjoy the process, and you better do, because otherwise you're not going to do it again.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm a believer that you, like, in everything you want to have success in, you should love it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have success in something, pick to do something you love. Again, about having fun or not, again, what you're saying is true. You know, like, man, like I was just thinking, it was like, oh, it's not fun training with you. Like, I think it's fun. I think it's fun, but because
For you it is.
no,
Not for me.
no, it is too. You know, it's just because I love the grind. I love that. Like today, we just had like a super hard sparring with Wagner Rocha, and it might seem like it's not fun rolling with him, because if he gets in a position, he will hurt you. You know, like for real. Like the positions are gonna be. But you know what? That challenge is fun. Because I love that feeling. I
Yeah.
love the feeling of, man, I gotta get out of here. I love the feeling of enjoying the process, I look forward of every day coming in and knowing how it's gonna be my challenge today. Am I gonna win every day? No, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But you know what? I love the challenge. I love coming in. I love the grind, and that's the thing. A lot of people, they don't understand. A lot of people want to be successful. A lot of people want to be on the top of the world, but not everybody wants to put in the hustle. They don't want to put in the grind. They don't want to put in the sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really important. Sacrifice.
And sometimes that's not fun.
That's not
like
fun.
the hour yoga class, or the strength and conditioning you do, or how you have to eat. You know,
That's
like
what it is.
Like that's the part that's
You might-
sometimes not fun.
You
know?
might enjoy it even though you don't think you're not having fun. But I tell people all the time, there's 4 things that should be in order for you to understand when you need what you need, if you need. First is training, and training hard. And I'm not saying only on the mats, but on strength and conditioning as well. Training, your overall training, your yoga, your strength and conditioning sessions, your jiu-jitsu session, no-gi session, whatever is training effort. That's the first thing. You need to make sure you're training hard for your age, for your weight, for like specifically to you.
Body type.
Second thing, rest. You need to understand that the more training you put in, the more you put in the work, the more rest you're gonna need, and the better. I'm not only talking about volume, like 10, 12 hours sleep is great, but if you can't afford it, just make sure you have a 30-minute nap. Just make sure you have a more restful weekend. Like, take your Sunday off, and when I say off, don't stay 5 hours at the beach. It's not gonna make you rest. You know, don't go to a football game and be there like cheering, rooting for 3 hours. That's not gonna be resting for you and not gonna be good for you on Monday. So second thing is the resting. Third thing is food, is eating. Make sure you're eating properly. And when I say eating properly, I'm not saying eating clean. I myself don't believe in the concept of eating clean. Unless you grow your own food, you're not eating clean. If you're buying it on the market, you're not eating clean. But you can always eat real food. The more real food you eat, the better it is for your body. And then, if you're training hard, if you're pushing yourself, if you're resting accordingly, if you're eating properly, and you're still away from your goals, you might consider supplementing. That's the moment when you're, okay, let me talk about supplementation. But if you're not doing those three things before, don't even have to assess that, you know? Forget about it. And this is a sports supplement brand owner telling you, don't throw your money away. That's it.
Yeah. So like overall, guys, the thing is, you know, like the mindset for training, you know, like something I always tell my guys, like especially like whenever you want to be a competitor, you know what I mean, man, be in for the sacrifice. Be in for the hard work. Be in for, you know
why you're doing it.
Put your love into it. You know, like Victor was saying. You know, like a lot of people wanna be a champion. You know what I mean? But not everybody wants to put in the time, to put in the effort to become a champion. You know what I mean? Being a champion is something very special. You know, it's for someone unique. Otherwise, everyone would be one.
Yeah.
You know, being a champion is for the ones who are willing to sacrifice. It's for the ones who are willing to put in the extra mile. For the ones who want to put in the love. You know, I tell the guys, man, sweating, everybody sweats. Everybody walks on the mat can sweat. But bleeding for your dreams, bleeding for what you believe, it's not for everyone. It's just for the ones who are actually going for the gold. You know what I mean? So be a champion, guys. Every day we step on the mats, you know. Again, being a champion is an attitude. Have the champion attitude every day. You know, always be humble, be positive, be centered. You know, come always, you know, willing to learn and willing to share with your fellow training partners. Put on the hard work with your workout.
You're ready for our next session.
Man, I'm like, you
He's
know,
inspired.
inspired.
It is about that time, though.
That's about that time. So
about
like,
that time.
and I didn't even have lunch yet. So I still have to have lunch and I'm ready for workout. So guys, again, hope this made you guys open your mind for some of the topics
Always message with any questions.
we spoke today.
Respond on
Very
them.
important, guys. Please, if you guys have the opportunity, like it, comment on it. You know, leave suggestions for us to be talking about.
Questions.
Whatever topic you guys have. Leave the questions on. Share. Okay. And again, man, we're doing this out of passion. You know what I mean? We would love to. We feel the
It's
need
fun.
that the community of Jiu-Jitsu has to have people, you know, like giving information out there, especially people who has been on the road for a long time. You know, so subscribe to our channel, and we promise that we're gonna keep, you know, delivering good content and the love for Jiu-Jitsu here for you guys. Us.
Us.
Take care, guys. Us.